Welcome back to Bristol, Tennessee. I'm Alex Hayden, ready for today's qualifying session. We have 40 drivers all looking to showcase their dirt skills and secure their spot at the front of the field for the big one tomorrow. Let's see who the quick learners are with this next-gen car running on this unique surface. Starting from the back here would not be a complete race killer, but with how tight the racing will be, the expectation is that it's going to be a workout getting through the field. With the lack of tire wear on dirt, the name of the game is to start as close to the front as possible and maintain the track position throughout the race. It looks like we're about ready to start putting cars on the track. Let's head down trackside to get this session underway.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's live stream. NASCAR 22 Dirt Bristol on a Friday night to get your weekend started. And this is going to be a fun one to say the least. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into this weekend's short track coverage. Of course, tonight we have NASCAR 22 Dirt Bristol, and then the Xfinity and Cup Series races this weekend at Martinsville, the round of 8 finale for both series to set the championship for next weekend at Phoenix. I'll be doing live commentary on Sunday afternoon for the Cup Series race, and that will start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, roughly a half hour before the start of the race. So be sure to tune in for that one, and be sure to stay tuned here. We're about to get into qualifying for our Dirt Bristol race. In practice, we were 25th quickest with our driver Kevin Harvick, who comes in a little bit behind William Byron in the regular season point standings right now as he sits P2. He does have the most wins this season with 4 in the first 9 races, including back-to-back wins and 4 wins in the last 5 races coming into tonight's race. So Harvick definitely is riding the hot streak out of anybody in the field, but can he win on Bristol dirt? He has won every short track so far this season: Richmond, Phoenix, Martinsville. But can he win today's race on dirt on a short track? We'll have to find out. Joshua Rumsey, Emily Gagnadine, Corey Freet, and others, welcome into the stream. And let's get this session underway. I believe we will have 2 laps to set the quick time, unless they put us in heat races, which would be great because that's how starting positions are actually determined. But I doubt we're going to get a heat race. Nope, no heat race. I was prepared for that. So 20.4 is the fastest lap I had in practice. The car feels very, very tight on the loosest setup. Like the rear of the car does not move, which kind of scares me. There is stability help on. I'm going to try shifting. I wasn't shifting in practice at all, but I'm going to try shifting a little bit. I don't think you should shift in a dirt car, but this isn't a typical dirt car at the same time. I mean, I think shifting's the way to go, because 20.176 was faster than any lap in practice for Kevin Harvick. Maybe he does have a shot to get a little bit higher up the running order, looking for that track position for the start of the race. Feathering the throttle, a little tight though off turn 2 into the wall. Lap 1's going to be a little bit quicker than lap 2. And pole time, I guess, for Kevin Harvick. And it looks like Cole Custer going to be on the front row, as he has been starting pretty well for most of these races this season. That's why he is above the cutoff line coming into this 9th race of the year. So all SHR front row with Harvick on the pole, Cole Custer in 2nd. Christopher Bell will start 3rd, Chase Briscoe 4th in row number 2. Briscoe, of course, a dirt ringer as well as Christopher Bell. Bell has won a race already this season, looking for his 2nd win of the year. He won at Las Vegas early in the year. Kyle Larson and Justin Haley in row 3. Larson, of course, another dirt ringer in the field, maybe the most experienced of them. And he is still looking for his 1st win of the year, as well as Justin Haley. And Haley is right around the cutoff line right now. He's just 5 points behind Denny Hamlin for that final spot. Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, look out for Bowman today, as well as Busch. Busch won this race in real life in 2022, and Bowman, another dirt ringer who is starting towards the front of the field for that Hendrick Motorsports group. Austin Dillon and Chris Buescher will round out the top 10 in row number 5. And we see some of the other starters further back in the field. Chase Elliott back in 20th. Joey Logano, the inaugural Dirt Bristol winner, in 21st. Kurt Busch, 22nd, former champ. Towards the rear of the field, Hamlin, Chastain, 24th, 25th. Chastain was actually the fastest in practice And I think Denny Hamlin was second fastest, so it's interesting that those guys will be starting at the back. Look out for them later in the race. Ryan Blaney starting back in 33rd. Blaney, of course, a big name in dirt racing, mostly due to his dad, a former World of Outlaws Series champion and one of the most winningest drivers of all time in that series of racing. Robin Dunn, thanks for tuning in. Alan Barkley, Jorge Solano, Brainer Martinez, also welcome.
Welcome to the last big Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Alex Hayden, and tonight the Cup cars hit the dirt again. Bristol always challenges drivers every lap, and there's no place to hide. I can't wait for the green flag and to see the dirt start flying. Getting ready to see the drivers push their cars to the limit as they slip and slide under the lights on that beautiful red Tennessee clay.
I don't know what's in store for this one today. We've been having a lot of cautions on the short tracks, but this is a unique short track to say the least. And we're about to hop into this. Starting from the pole after finishing 24th in practice, Harvick found some speed in shifting. And we'll see if he can keep that speed towards the front of the field here for the start of this race. Track position is going to be the main point of emphasis in this just 250 lap race. 75 laps at stage 1. The sprint is on. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Dirt Bristol. And already contact into the first turn as Harvick got into Custer. Bell's going to slide into Harvick. I think Briscoe ended up with the lead. Everybody was all over each other that corner. Kevin Harvick got tight really quick into the corner, overriding that first turn, and already gives up the race lead to Briscoe. And Custer trying to battle back. Bell was gotten by Cole Custer for second place. Larson gets into Custer, a little contact. Larson sideways. Harvick's going to get around him and get to the outside of Custer on the front stretch, and cautions out further back off the exit of the corner. Our first yellow of the day of probably many, as we've seen on short tracks a lot this season. Harvick going to have to try a better start this time around. Green flag is in the air, and we're underway following the first restart of the race now. Briscoe slides it into the corner. Custer drove it up the track back into Harvick. Harvick did the same thing to Custer into the first turn earlier, and unfortunately that costed Harvick a spot to Alex Bowman. Got a little tight after the contact with the 48, getting into turn 3 as well. Christopher Bell to the lead on the restart after getting around the 14 of Briscoe. Harvick's still in 4th. Bowman's actually a lap down, so only the top 4 are on the lead lap after that caution. Harvick got into the 48. I think he about turned him. Harvick up into the wall. Caution came out right before that. Our second caution of the day already. Green flag back in the air again. Harvick trying to get down to the bottom in front of the 41. Bell holding on to the lead, it looked like, on the 14 of Briscoe. Harvick may be a lap down already. I'm not entirely sure. He's going to get around Custer for 3rd. That was a position. Bell leads. Briscoe 2nd, right there behind him. Looking to the inside. Can't make the pass. Good run for Kevin Harvick through turns 1 and 2. Harvick running a bit better in the race than what he was in practice. I think he found the right gear to run, and cautions out again. Our 3rd yellow of the race, and we're going to be having cautions consecutively. That's the thing with NASCAR 22 on the short tracks. We're going to be getting quite a few yellows. I think this race is going to fly by tonight. Don't think Bell got to the start-finish line that time. Green flag back in the air, and now Harvick gets up into the 14 of Briscoe, and that's going to bring out a caution immediately on the restart. That's unfortunate. That was a spot. That's not the way Harvick wanted to get around him. Harvick on the inside just gets super tight going into the first turn, and Mostly AI doing the same thing. Bell slides up into Harvick. Bell up into the wall, and he spins out. He has crashed himself, basically. Harvick kept it off the wall, and I think Briscoe got to the lead again. This is nuts. Briscoe's out in front, so nobody is lap down outside. Well, I should say the top four are the only four in the lead lap. Briscoe gets the good launch that time. We'll see if we can make it through the first lap after this restart. Maybe not. 3 wide. That is tight. Custer, Bell, Harvick were all 3 wide for second as Bell is going to make that 3 wide pass. He seems like the car to beat early on. 5 early yellows in this race. And Custer just bounced off one of the turtles on the inside of the racetrack, slammed into Kevin Harvick. Get by him for third. A lot of beating and banging going on. Bell slips. Costed himself. And Briscoe's pulling away for a short time. Hopefully we get more green flag racing. Bowman in the back of the 4. Basically pushed him into the 41 of Custer. And the caution's out further back. 6 yellows already. 30 cautions, Keegan. Well, we just had 27 last night in the Coke 600 at Charlotte on NASCAR 06. And I was wondering, with this being a dirt race, maybe it'd be a little more clean, but I don't think it's going to be. Green flag back in the air following our 6th caution in just 43 laps. Definitely a big sense of urgency on these restarts. Harvick on the outside of Cole Custer. Up into the wall. Off turn 4. Man, those cars hit the turtles on the bottom quite a bit, and it really cost them. Harvick's 3 wide middle and sandwich right now between Custer and Larson. Still only the top 4 on the lead lap. Larson off the Kirby. Jesus. Dirt Bristol in this game, worse than what it was in NASCAR 21. We're getting cautions on a more repeated basis, as we have just had our 7th yellow of the race already. But not only that, but I mean, it's kind of reckless abandon. I mean, the drivers on the inside line hit the turtles and they go up the racetrack. And Briscoe just gets dumped by Christopher Bell, and Harvick's going to get to the lead on the outside. Exhibit A. Well, this is the first time Harvick has taken the lead today. It's late in the stage now. He holds the track position following the 8th caution. He's going to throw it in there pretty deep, but this time he's going to be able to pull up and clear the 14 of Briscoe. Briscoe with the undercut move, but Harvick gets the drive off, and the caution's out further back. 9 cautions in stage 1. I think we're going to break a NASCAR record. NASCAR 22, we already did in NASCAR 6. Now we're about to do it in this game at this rate. This is ridiculous. Harvick holding on to the lead on another restart. Remember, stage points are awarded in about 13 laps. So Harvick really trying to hold on to the lead so he can try to get yet another stage win on the season. Trying to go for 3 wins in a row and go for 5 wins, all 5 of his wins within a 6-race stretch. He's kind of riding in 4th gear for right now. Pulls away up to 5th, and then the caution came out behind him. We have 10 cautions in the first stage. 50 cautions, we might. I mean, we've had 10 cautions in stage 1. We've had a couple green flag laps. There were a couple runs where we got like 2-3 laps in before a caution. It's hard to get a lap in now. 5 laps to go on the restart. Green flag back in the air. Another caution. It will likely end the stage. Harvick goes up the track just a little bit too much. And it's door-to-door off the exit of turn 2 between himself and teammate Chase Briscoe. Battle for the stage win. Stage could end at any moment with a caution. Harvick trying to stay in front of that 14 car. Seems like Harvick's slowly pulling away when he has the clean air. And he's not getting bodied around in traffic. Things are going pretty good. Caution's out for the 11th time. Wreck on the back straightaway. And that will end stage 1. So Kevin Harvick will win stage number 1 tonight at Dirt Bristol from the pole. And it'll be stage win number 5 on the season for Kevin Harvick already in just the 9th race of the year. Chase Briscoe will finish in 2nd in stage 1. Christopher Bell in 3rd. Cole Custer 4th. Alex Bowman 5th. Kyle Busch 6th. Kyle Larson 7th. Brad Keselowski already up to 8th. Michael McDowell in 9th. And William Byron rounds out the top 10. And we'll all receive stage points in the first stage. No plan to pit here during this stage break. Got to keep that track position because it has been pretty much dangerous. We might have 50 cautions, though. We had 11 cautions in stage 1. All for incidents. 75 laps again in stage 2, and then we'll have 100 in the final stage. Green flag is back in the air. Briscoe almost got around Harvick. Little battle going on still. These guys will have to pit for fuel at some point in time. Definitely not wearing their tires out too much right now. It's going to be a pain on whether or when you decide to pit. Can you make it to the end of stage 2 before considering pitting? Harvick almost up into the wall off turn 4. Briscoe's got to run. Harvick going down to the bottom to try and protect that time. Been running the top more often than not. Caution's out behind him anyway for the 12th time today. I mean, we've probably ran less than 10 green flag laps total in this race so far, which is kind of disappointing. Practice is more fun than this just because we're getting more laps. Track does seem like it has a bit more grip than what it did in practice. It's in the nighttime though too, so that makes sense. A little bit cooler track temps. Caution in the first lap after the restart that time. Didn't even make it all the way through 1 and 2. Harvick holds on to the lead. As long as he holds on to the lead when these cautions come out, obviously he can maintain that track position. Green flag back in the air again. Goes up the track quite a bit, but as long as he clears the 14, even if the 14 gets back underneath him, Harvick has his preferred lane on the outside anyway. And we've already had 3 cautions now in this second stage, giving us 14 total. We're definitely breaking the NASCAR record tonight. We haven't even made it 100 laps at Dirt Bristol. We've had 14 cautions. It's a good thing this race is only 24 laps. Just wait till the 500 lap race later this season, though. I mean, I would assume that they might have a bit more stability. Man. Yeah, the top's definitely preferred. I was just riding the bottom to try to protect. It's risky, though, if you get into the wall. As Harvick just did off turn 4 because he risked blowing a tire. With the complex damage on. Harvick's gotten into the wall a few times already, and there's caution number 15 as he'll continue to stay out and keep the track position. Yet another restart. Lap 28 of 75 in stage number 2. We know the top 4 are the only 4 on the lead lap, and 16 cautions. This is gonna be a short. This is gonna be a short stream, guys. I can't do another race because the next race is 500 miles at Talladega, and if we don't get any cautions, that race is gonna, by the time we start, gonna last until about 11:30, and that's gonna be too late because I gotta work tomorrow. 85 cautions before we know it. Yeah, really. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. Mark Mars, also welcome. Yeah, we'll stay out again. When will the field pit? And I wonder if you can make it on just one stop in this race, too, because we're not quite halfway in this one. We've already seen 16 cautions, and we're not even halfway. Yikes. I thought we had a lot of cautions last night. The fact that Harvick hasn't even been any of them either, that's the insane thing. It's been all AI related. Got through the first lap after the restart that time. Chase Briscoe putting a little bit of pressure. Kevin Harvick, as he's kind of pulled away from everybody else. And caution again. Harvick will stay out again. Watching that fuel tank, I think Harvick's going to pit potentially this next time. Green flag back in the air. Next caution, assuming we get one in a few laps again. Which is why I continue to stay out. I'm glad it's restarting me in 4th gear. Makes it a lot easier for me on the restarts. Alan Williams, thanks for tuning in. We made it a lap and a half after the restart that time. 17 cautions tonight at Dirt Bristol. The most we've had in a single race this season is 18, 3 different times. Harvick will pit during the next yellow. So it'll be a 2-stop race for fuel. Might as well take 4 tires while you're there. Nope, this is manual. Sometimes I'm staying on older tires. I'm staying in 4th gear, but fresher tires, I'm all right with upshifting to 5th and then downshifting to 4th. Clean air, Harvick is king, but when he's not in clean air, it's where his car's not quite as fast. I think that's why he was as fast as what he was to qualify on the pole versus in practice when it was in traffic. Probably another reason why it's a few tenths slower than what it was in qualifying. Fastest lap of this race, still about 2 tenths off of where Harvick had his best qualifying lap. Ran a 20.642 this far into the run. We've gone quite a ways into this green flag run, though, right now. Harvick can see the tail end of the field. It's probably the longest green flag run of the race so far. About, what, 5 laps, 6 laps? Which is not going to be good if Kevin Harvick has to pit under green. Because that's not something you want to do in a dirt race. You're going to lose a few laps. I mean, this is insane that this would be the run that we go green and Harvick might cost himself by not pitting. If he does make it to the halfway mark, it could be just a 1-stop race. Caution, there we go. I was getting a little nervous there because it was getting pretty close on fuel. Caution is out. Harvick can pit now. Our 18th yellow of the race. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for the 14. I'm not a dirt racer, repeat, I am not a dirt racer. Yeah, Kevin Harvick isn't a dirt racer, but he is getting the job done tonight. Doesn't look like anybody else hit pit road, at least in the front stretch pit lane. Harvick's still the leader. I think everybody else might be multiple laps down. What is this? We're not even to the restart, and everybody stopped, and the caution's out before we even get the green. Do I even consider that the 19th caution of the race? We didn't even get the green flag, and the caution came out. What was that? Well, obviously I'm staying out. They wrecked before we... I've never seen that in my life. Wrecked before the restart. Wrecked before the restart. And then the caution came out again. I'm not going to consider that another caution. We didn't even get the green. I had no control of my car during any of that. I've never seen that before. Oh, jeez. $15 laps to go right now in stage 2. A little bit past the halfway mark at this point in the race. Harvick's got much fresher tire. Oh, one car's up against the tire barrier at the front of the pit road entrance on the front stretch, which was Chris Buescher in the 17, who was parked against the inside. Having some green flag pit stops right now, so Harvick's going to lap the field. And the likelihood that Harvick's going to win 3 races in a row is looking very good. Stenhouse up to 4th. Finished second in the inaugural race. A while back, Hesemans, I think he was trying to pit potentially. I don't know why he crowded Harvick so much in the middle of the corner, but he did. There are cars crashed on pit road, and we might get some DNFs because of it. I mean, there was a parking lot on the front stretch pit lane. The back stretch is a little bit more organized with their pit stops. Just kind of space the field out a little more. Bubba Wallace pulling up right in front of Kevin Harvick coming out of the pits. Already jammed on the brakes. It was too late. Especially a dirt jam on the brakes, it just kind of slide. How far back that really held Harvick up. Okay, he's got a couple lap lead on the field. Everybody pitting. Hesmans is in 10th right now, by the way. There's got to be cars at DNF because of that parking lot in the front stretch pit lane. Maybe with less cars, we'll have more green flag racing. I think there's a chance I pit just to make sure I can make it on fuel in the final stage. Because it's going to be very borderline. I kind of don't want to risk it. Well, at least we're getting some sort of green flag racing all of a sudden. Alternate through the different camera angles in this race for the first time tonight. Maybe the only time if we don't get enough caution laps. Eric Jones down on the bottom of Kevin Harvick. Was looking for it at least. Harvick got the acceleration though. Stayed in front of him. Hesemans up to 9th. Eric Jones in the 43 down on the inside. And Jones with a little slide job will get by Harvick. Oh, Gregson nearly went for a spill. I don't think there was contact from the 21 car from behind. No need for Kevin Harvick to really overpush the issue here. He's got the Stage 2 win with ease and has a chance to get a max point stand for just the second time this season. Ultimate idiot sandwich. Side of muffin heads. Alright. Harvick does have a few lap older tires too, but his car is definitely not as good in traffic as what he is in the clean air. Cars in front of him starting to pull away just a little bit more. Riding the brakes a bit. Cormac, thanks for tuning in. Talk about the chaos on pit road. I figured. 2 laps to go. Stage 2. Harvick looking to sweep the stages at Dirt Bristol. Honestly, compared to where I was in practice, I did not see any of this coming tonight. Saw Harvick qualified on the pole, and that has worked out well for him, having that track position from the start, especially with all the cautions that came out. If I would have qualified 25th, that probably would have been many laps down by this point. Harvick's gotten a few poles this season. It's definitely helped him out on the short tracks when he's qualifying well. Green, white, checkered flag will be in the air when we get to the start-finish line this time by... And Kevin Harvick will win stage number 2 at Bristol. 6th stage win of the season for Harvick. He'll sweep the stages tonight. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will steal 2nd place in stage number 2. He cycled out in 2nd place following the green flag pit stops. He was not in the top 10 at the end of stage 1. Christopher Bell will end up finishing 3rd after finishing, believe 3rd also in stage 1. Chase Briscoe will end up 4th Corey LaJoy, 5th place. What a top 5 performance for him thus far through the second stage. He also was outside the top 10 after the end of stage 1. Justin Haley as well was outside the top 10 in stage 1. Pretty much everybody who got stage points in stage 2 outside of Briscoe, Bell, and Harvick were outside the top 10 in stage 1. But anyway, Haley in 6th, Chase Elliott in 7th, Daniel Suarez in 8th, Larice Hesmans in 9th, and Harrison Burton will round out the top 10. Burton trying to go for back-to-back top 10s. Remember, at Martinsville, he ended up finishing in 3rd in that race, so we'll see if he can get back-to-back top 10s, maybe even back-to-back top 5s if things go his way. So that is that. I just realized I forgot to take a screenshot of the last stage, so I'll have to go back through the stream and try to find that at the end of the night when I'm tallying the points. I believe, well, Byron got 1 stage point, so as we run going into the final stage of this race, Kevin Harvick is going to be 1 point behind William Byron for the regular season points lead. So Byron's lead down to 1, with him only having 1 stage point. Harvick having a bunch of stage points so far tonight. And 6 stage wins on the year now for Harvick, and we'll see if he can go for a 7 top 5. And 5th win already in the early going of the season. Again, this is only the 9th race. Austin Almada, thanks for tuning in. I think Ross will win. Well, we'll see. He might be out, actually. There were quite a few cars that were stalled on pit road. I know Larson was one of them. I think he's out. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody from, like, Logano on back could be out of the race. I know Larson's definitely out. I'd have to imagine Custer finishing as... I mean, Custer was on the lead lap. He's probably out, too. Blaney, I know Buscher's out. Yeah, everybody from Larson on back at least is out. I can pretty much confirm that. It'll be interesting how many cars we're still going to have in this race. We really won't know until the finish. So I'm gonna stay out of the pits and keep track position for right now. We'll see how the final stage goes. If I have to pit again towards the end, I will. I feel like I have a couple lap lead on the field with them pitting during green flag conditions in the middle of the second stage. So I think I'll be alright. Especially if we get a lot of cautions again. We had a lot of green flag racing. I think we ended on about a 20 lap green flag run to the end of stage 2. Still sitting at 18 cautions on the day. The green flag is in the air. And the final stage is upon us at Dirt Bristol. Just notice there hasn't been any day to night transitions yet. And I wonder if that's because the race is going by quickly with all the yellows. Oh, Harvick up into the wall. Off turn 4. The drivability in his race car at least. These guys have slightly fresher tires behind him, so they're going to be putting a lot more pressure on Harvick compared to the last couple stages. .98 to go. This is hell on Tennessee red clay. Oh, jeez. We had, well, I guess that stage break technically would have been the 19th caution of the race, so we are at 19. 4 away from the NASCAR record. I thought we'd break it by now with all the short tracks and all the cautions on short tracks, but we had 18 in every single one of them, but 19 in this one. So this could be the one. We haven't had the lights glitch yet, so that kind of scares me. And it's going to happen at some point. I just pray to God it's under caution, but I don't think it works like that in this game. Expert difficulty, by the way, this season. I'm shocked at how many wins I've got. I figured at the start of the year when I was getting close, but I wasn't winning races, I was like, you know, maybe I'll get a couple this season. I was not expecting 4 in the first 8 races and potentially 5 in the first 9 with tonight's race, but I think it's just because I qualify well. We get a lot of cautions on short tracks, and with the scoring glitch, if I'm in the lead, the rest of the field's getting trapped a bunch of laps down instead of me, so that's where it costs me on the intermediates. And we have a lot of intermediates in the middle portion of the season, which I think is going to be potentially costly as far as the regular season championship goes. So that's why it's crucial we get these points right now. Road course, if we have that glitch on every other road course like we did at Coda in the final stage, then we're going to have to capitalize on stage points and then pin under the caution to at least save us a little bit of time on the road course races and trying to win. Logs and Gaming with Tommy, thanks for tuning in. At least we got some green flag racing tonight. I was thinking we were going to have 30-plus cautions the way things were looking there. We still could. We get caution after caution after caution again. I'll say this track is pretty bumpy with the dirt on it. Quite a bit bumpy. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already so far tonight. So we're watching the Food City Bristol Dirt Race on NASCAR 22 Ignition. Our next race of the season, Talladega, for the running of the Geico 500. That'll be an interesting one, to say the least. Bubba Wallace won the first super speedway race of the year in the Daytona 500. And we'll see what he can do. We go to our second super speedway, well, I guess technically third super speedway race of the year, because Atlanta was a super speedway as well. Harvick actually won at Atlanta, so I've had 2 different winners, at least as far as the super speedways have gone so far this season. I think Blaney can make the championship 4, or Byron. Byron's got a much better shot, obviously, considering he's above the cut line. And Byron was dominant earlier this season at Martinsville, too. Him and Elliott were the class of the field, so the Hendrick Chevys are going to be class of the field again. The only thing is the Fords are good on the flat tracks this season. And the only one they didn't win was Martinsville. So maybe they'll win this one. Logano's been probably the best on the flat tracks, but Blaney's been maybe the most consistent on the flat tracks this year. So it's possible that Blaney can make up 18 points if he qualifies well, because it's going to be a track position kind of a race. Probably not going to see as much passing just like in the spring race. I think there might be a little more, considering it'll be warmer temperatures in the daytime. Track might be a little more slippery, but I don't expect a whole lot outside of restarts. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. I'm hoping Blaney makes it. As a Blaney fan. Harvick catching up to the tail end of the field right now. Hasn't had to pass any cars in a while. He's going to do his best. You know, Suarez is not having a great handling race car right now. Harvick trying to make some passes on the outside, riding the cushion. Esmond's still hanging on to a top 10, looking for his first career top 10 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Suarez, although he has an ill-handling car, it looks like. Maybe a little too loose. Still having a solid run. Position-wise, he's in 8th. Val back at 22nd after being top 10 at the end of stage 1. Saying Denny Hamlin will win or make it. Or both. I guess if he wins, he technically makes it. I mean, statistically, he's better than Byron at Martinsville, but this year, though, Byron dominated Martinsville this season. And he's been running more consistently in the playoffs, consistently well in the playoffs than what he was in the regular season. The fact that he did that in the regular season, I don't know. Chase Elliott's got some damage on the nose of his race car. Danger of losing another lap. William Albright, thanks for tuning in. Back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race at the start-finish line this time by Briscoe and Ford still. And caution is out for the first time in stage 3, and it will be caution number 20 on the evening. And we'll have a restart with about 69 laps to go. Nice. And Kevin Harvick will lead the field to the green once again. Probably the only car in the lead lap. Won Martinsville by 12 laps because of all the cautions in that race, and I was trapping the field a lot of laps down, so that could be the case here today with all the yellows as well. Harvick did get to the lead towards the end of stage 1, but once he did, he has not looked back. Blaney fan watching any race in 2022 sucks. I wouldn't say sucks. I mean, the fact he still has a shot at the championship after 34 races without a win, it could be worse. And at least he won the All-Star race. I know it doesn't count for a points win, but at least he got something. Even that one, it was kind of screwy, but he held on. Had the best car that evening. Got the win. His last couple weeks have definitely stunk, though. He's gotten the better of himself. He could easily be above that cutoff line if he didn't lose control at Vegas and lose control at Homestead. I mean, driver error effectively has taken Blaney out of a great shot to make it into the next round. We're keep him out of the next round, I should say. We're 3 cautions away from the NASCAR record, at least for this NASCAR 22 season. We'll keep records separate from our NASCAR 06 custom schedule season, where we broke the NASCAR record in the Coke 600 for the most cautions in a single race literally just last night. And here tonight, got a shot to break it at Dirt Bristol. We've seen 20 cautions so far, but only 1 in the final stage. I think with less cars in it, probably why we haven't seen as many yellows. Harvick scraping the wall a bit off turn 4. 5th time or so he's gotten into the wall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's top 5 in average finish this season, too. He's led some laps. He's won a lot of stages. I think he's got the most stage wins of any driver. He's up there in laps led. I think Elliott's probably number 1, but got to be not that far behind him, leaderboard-wise. Starting to catch up to the rear of the field right now. Ariel Diaz, thanks for tuning in. It's strange that in a full race, though, at Dirt Bristol, we haven't really seen any day-to-night transitions yet. So I'm kind of shocked. DJ McLeod up into the side of Kevin Harvick. Large single file line around the bottom of the racetrack in the corners. Harvick making up some ground on the outside. It's Harvick's preferred lane anyway. Not even gonna think twice about trying to even pass any cars on the bottom at this point. Been squeezed a couple times he's tried to do it. Much earlier on in the event. At least the stream's going a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to originally. I knew it was already going to be a pretty quick race. I guess those cautions could have prolonged it a little bit more. Not impossible. Bell was going to try to make the pass on LaJoie. LaJoie still sitting in 5th, trying to get a top 5 finish in Dirt Bristol. What a run for the 7 for Spire Motorsports of Corey LaJoie. It's like a Daytona train race, only on Bristol dirt. Harvick doesn't need the draft to get around these guys on the outside. They're all just kind of holding each other up on the bottom. This is expert difficulty, by the way. Esmond's kind of holding them up. Oh, McDowell tried to make a pass. Failed at it. Harvick gets around Hesman's on the outside. We'll be halfway through the final stage this time by at the start-finish line. No trivia question on the channel tonight. How quick this race went. Just try to get to the end as of right now. A little less than halfway on fuel for Harvick. He might have to pit one time yet before the end of the race. Pitted at the caution that took place at lap 123 back in stage 2. Haven't had as many cautions to try and save fuel so far in this stage. Five-car group going on right in front of Harvick now.
Got one left. Clear all around. Clear all around.
Harvick has a run on Brad Keselowski, squeezes to the outside.
Clear, 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 clear.
Yeah, I saw Sling's supposed to be a sponsor for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is a slinger now. Green flag, or sorry, caution flag rather, back in the air again. Our 21st yellow of the race. And we'll head to another restart right now with 41 laps to go. Green flag back in the air at Dirt Bristol. And we are now just 2 cautions away from breaking the all-time NASCAR record for the most cautions in a single race. It's only our 2nd caution of the final stage so far. Harvick got the good launch on the restart. It's quickly looking to pull away. And caution's out again. That's number 22. Now we're starting to get caution after caution after caution again. We're one caution away from breaking the NASCAR record. Down to 34 laps to go. Harvick went a bit too far wide into the corner, barely kept it off the wall, back down to the bottom to protect on Daniel Suarez, who closed it just a bit off the exit of turn 2, but not heavily enough. Four cautions in the final stage thus far. Got the first lap after the restart out of the way this time. Harvick's still got a little over a quarter tank of gas left. I think he can make it. And this is only a half-mile racetrack after all. We'll have 32 laps to go this time by for Harvick to get his third consecutive win. And again, 5 wins in the last 6 races. He came into this race with an 8.5 average finish. It's going to be even less than that with this win. Better rack those playoff points up now, because you never know what's going to happen. And he'll likely take over the regular season points lead, as he was only 1 point behind Byron coming into the final stage based off stage points. And not mistaken, I think Byron's still outside the top 10. So Harvick should have a double-digit points lead, at least going into Talladega, where anything could happen in that next race. And I believe that will be taking place on Monday night. Now, NASCAR 06 tomorrow night on the channel at the Devil's Canyon. A fantasy road course race in the Rocky Mountains. That'll be a fun one. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, after the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Martinsville. I'll be at work, so I can't commentate that race tomorrow, but I will be commentating the Cup Series race on Sunday. Caution's out once again. Looks like trouble off turn 4, stacking the field up. And we're down to just 23 laps to go on the restart. We have broken a NASCAR record tonight for the most cautions. 23 yellows. Actually, that was the 5th caution of the stage, so that is the 24th caution of the race. So 24 cautions. We might even break NASCAR 06 from last night. Will that be the final restart of the race? Daniel Suarez is up to 4th, by the way. Might have some cars that DNF from that wreck that were in front of him, because he was in 7th or 8th for the... I think he was 8th for the longest time in this stage, but now he's up to 4th. Could be getting some laps back on him with these cautions that could be getting him up in the running order more, because Bubba Wallace is back at 30th at one point. I think the same thing's going for him. And Keselowski may be losing some laps with it, because he was in the top 10 at the end of Stage 2, and he's back to 20th, and we haven't seen green flag pit stops. I just saw in the leaderboard, Timmy Hill is in 15th right now at Dirt Bristol. What a run for Timmy, that MBM 66 team. One car exiting pit road up ahead, Noah Gragson. The 62, he's in 33rd. So maybe 34th on back is out of the race. I think Custer was in 34th if I remember, so that would probably make sense. So he was in the top 4 all the way through the first stage. Be interesting to see if we get any more pit stops. Harvick should make it. He'll stay out to the end. $17 laps left. Harvick starting to catch lap traffic at the tail end of the field again. Chase Elliott back to 19th. He was in 7th at the beginning of the stage. Trying to pinch the 43 of Eric Jones down on the bottom of the track. Jones in 32nd. They're not even battling for position with one another. Jones will make the pass on Elliott. Elliott's got quite a bit of damage from an earlier incident still. it's not 3 wide. I don't know why my crew chief said it was 3, or my spotter said it was 3 wide.
Got one left. Clear, clear, clear.
Harvick riding this top lane pretty well, though.
Side, you're 3 wide.
Pretty much the entire race. I mean, the more laps we get into this race, the more and more comfortable I feel with the race car also.
Clear, clear, clear. 3 wide, you're up top. Got one left.
Oh, one car spinning off turn 4, locking it down. It was Chase Briscoe.
Yellow flag.
And the caution flag is out once again as Briscoe has wrecked, bringing out our 25th caution of the race and our 6th caution of the final stage. And another late race restart with 7 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Field staggered. 2 deep most of the way through the field through turns 1 and 2. Rick Almirola in 31st is the car right behind Harvick. Briscoe, who just spun, is in 11th. Justin Haley right behind him in 12th.
Pit road is closed.
And caution's out again. And this will set up, I believe, an overtime overtime restart, so just 2 laps to go. Our 4th overtime finish of the year. Harvick probably multiple laps ahead of the rest of the field, but the green flag back in the air, and all they have to do is get to the white flag. Harvick might have barely kept it off the wall. Almirola gets loose, fishtailing, stacking the field up in an accordion effect. Heading into 3 and 4, Harvick just trying to get to the white flag after the 26th caution of the race. And the caution comes out, but Harvick got to the start-finish line just in time for that yellow to come out there. So the checkered flag is in the air, and Kevin Harvick has won at Dirt Bristol. 27 cautions in tonight's race, which is, I believe, the same amount that we had last night, if I'm not mistaken, in the Coke 600 on NASCAR 06. Second place finish for Christopher Bell. He was top 3 all night. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a great day. A lot of stage points for him as well. Finishes 3rd. Daniel Suarez 4th. And Lariz Hesmitz with his first career top 5, finishing in 5th today. Harrison Burton gets back-to-back top 10s. Good run for the rookie. 6th place finish today at Dirt Bristol. Kurt Busch 7th. Tyler Reddick 8th. William Byron will get a top 10 and finish 9th, keeping that streak alive. And Corey LaJoy, who was top 5 at the end of stage 2, still finishes in 10th place, rounding out the top 10 today. Drivers who had DNF'd in this race, quite a few of them: Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Todd Gilliland, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, and Cole Custer, all DNF'd. So only 33 cars finished, and a 7-lap margin of victory for Harvick over Bell, mainly due to the, or pretty much only because of the scoring errors, because we were in the lead when a lot of the cautions were coming out. If we were past the start-finish line and the cars from second on back weren't, they were losing laps. So that is how that all worked itself out. Take some screenshots now, and we'll get the finishing, well, we got the finishing order. We'll get the screenshots out, and then victory lane celebration. Oh, missed it. Bludgeoning it up. There we go. Okay, I've got it. 5th time Kevin Harvick has gone to victory lane already this season. How about that? Pull the old Kirk Cousins. You like that? You like that? You like that? I always like the trophy in the Food City 500. It reminds me of like an old school trophy like you would get for winning a local championship somewhere. That's what it looks like. Food City 500 trophy. Pretty good one. All right, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. I was about to show you the point standings. I can't do that because I have to keep track of points myself. But Needless to say, that's the end of tonight's stream. Next race on NASCAR 22, looking at Monday night, Talladega, Geico 500 in that one. And then as far as tomorrow night's stream, NASCAR 06, Total Team Control Cup Series, Custom Schedule Season, race number 11. And it will be taking place on a fantasy road course, and it will be at the Devil's Canyon. That's going to be a fun race. That is one of my favorite racetracks on the fantasy tracks. That and Speedway Boulevard were always my two favorite fantasy tracks on the road course side of things. So, of course, Dodge Raceway was always up there. But on the road course side of things, though, Devil's Canyon, Speedway Boulevard were definitely the two. And both those races, I think, coming up shortly on the schedule. Obviously, Devil's Canyon tomorrow, and I think Speedway Boulevard for the Daytona Beach Street Course race is like either... It's not the race after, because they go to Michigan after that. But it's either the race after Michigan, or we go to Daytona Oval first for the Pepsi 400, and then we go to the road course. So one or the other. So they're both coming up pretty soon on the schedule, so I can't wait. We got some good racing coming up on that side of things, and hopefully we at least we're winning races. I mean, they're not the most entertaining in the sense of battles for the win late, except for Auto Club. Auto Club is the best race we've had. And pretty much since then, they've been blowouts one way or another, whether we're losing by a lot or we're winning by a lot because of all the scoring errors with the full races, because we've been seeing so many cautions. I don't think we've had a race where we've had less than 10 cautions except for Coda, which we only had the 2 stage breaks and then a DNF, so technically 3 yellows in that race. But that's the least amount of cautions we've had in a race this season. But outside of all the ovals, we've had 10 or more cautions so far this season. And on the short tracks, we've had 18 or more cautions. So we're going to keep seeing scoring errors the more yellows we get. So hopefully we get a lot of green flag racing in. And maybe Talladega will be the one. I'd probably think that... watch Talladega on this game be like the most normal race. And we're actually nose to tail the whole time. I doubt that's going to happen, but again, you never know. I'll see you guys, though, tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, Sunday, I'll be doing live commentary for the Cup Series race as well. That will be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good rest of your Friday evening, everybody. Get a good start to your weekend.